Part 3. The Choice. Chapter 1. The Deadline. The email sat open on Ethan's laptop, glowing like a warning he couldn't ignore. Final confirmation needed. The clock in the corner ticked toward midnight, and his chest tightened with every passing second. All day, Head tried to focus on work, on errands, on anything but the decision looming over him. But it followed him everywhere. Chicago, Korea, everything Head dreamed of. Evelyn home, everything he had dared dream of until now. He closed the laptop with a sharp snap, as if that would silence the thoughts. But they stayed, buzzing, relentless. Across town, Evelyn sat with Mara at a quiet wine bar. Mara, for once, was serious, her teasing gone. "You love him," Mara said simply. "Yes." Evelyn didn't hesitate, but her throat tightened. "And I'm terrified that love isn't enough. What if he leaves? What if I'm asking him to give up too much?" Mara tilted her glass. "And what if he's asking himself the same thing about you?" Evelyn blinked, startled. "Evie, you've both been dancing around the same fear. Maybe the real question isn't whether love is enough. Maybe it's whether you two are brave enough to trust it." Evelyn sat back, Mara's words echoing in her chest. At midnight, Ethan walked the city streets alone, his phone heavy in his pocket. He wanted to call her. He wanted to hear her voice, to ask her what to do. But this choice felt too big to put on her shoulders. Still, as the cold night air pressed against him, one truth settled in his bones. No career, no city, no dream meant anything if it didn't include Evelyn. The only question was, would she still believe in them after all the hurt? Chapter 2. Crossed Wires. Thursday morning, Evelyn stared at her phone, thumb hovering over Ethan's contact. She hadn't heard from him since their fight about the offer. The silence gnawed at her. Finally, she typed, "Can we talk tonight?" She hit send before she could second-guess herself. Minutes later, her phone buzzed. Relief flashed until she saw it wasn't him. It was Ryan. "Leaving town tomorrow. Thought I'd say goodbye. Coffee?" Her chest tightened. She didn't reply. Not yet. Across town, Ethan sat in a cafe, laptop open. The cursor blinked on the Chicago email. He had until midnight to decide. He opened a draft reply, typed "I respectfully decline," then stopped, hands trembling. His phone buzzed. Evelyn's message lit the screen. "Can we talk tonight?" His chest eased, just a little. He typed back, "Yes, my place at 7. But as he hit send, the cafe's Wi-Fi sputtered, the little spinning circle failing to deliver the message. He didn't notice. That evening, Evelyn stood outside Ethan's apartment at 7:05. She knocked, waited. No answer. Her heart sank. She tried calling, but it went straight to voicemail. "He's avoiding me." The thought stabbed sharp and cold. At 7:20, she gave up and walked away, the city lights blurring through her tears. Ethan, meanwhile, sat in his apartment with takeout containers and candles waiting on the table. His phone buzzed at 8:30, finally reconnecting to Wi-Fi. Her call log flashed on his screen, unanswered. "Damn it," he muttered, grabbing his coat. But by the time he reached her apartment, the lights were off. No answer at the door. Two people, both desperate to bridge the gap, yet caught in crossed wires and silence once more. Chapter 3. The Bridge. Friday evening, Evelyn walked aimlessly through the city after work, her chest aching with disappointment. She hadn't slept. She hadn't eaten. All she could think was, he chose not to show up. He chose not to fight for me. Her steps carried her, almost unconsciously, toward the pedestrian bridge that overlooked the river, place where she and Ethan used to sit in college, dreaming about the future. Back then, everything had felt simple, limitless. She leaned against the railing, staring at the water, fighting tears. Behind her, footsteps slowed. "Evie." She turned. Ethan stood there, out of breath, as if he'd run the whole way. His hair was damp from drizzle, his chest heaving. Her heart lurched. but her voice was cold. "You didn't show up." "I did," he said, stepping closer. "I was there." "You weren't." "I waited, Ethan. I called." His face fell. "The message never sent. My phone, it didn't go through until too late." For a moment, only the rain-filled silence stretched between them. "Evie," he said finally, voice breaking, "I thought I lost you. And it killed me." Her throat tightened. "So did you say yes?" He blinked. "To Chicago, yes." Her voice cracked. "Did you choose them over me?" Ethan swallowed hard, then pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket. It was damp from the rain, but the words on the folded letter inside were still visible. "Offer declined." Her breath caught. "I couldn't," he whispered. "Not when every part of me is here with you. I don't care about the skyline, the salary, the title. None of it means anything without you in it." Her tears spilled freely now, mixing with the rain. "I don't need Chicago," he said, stepping closer until their foreheads touched. "I need you. Always you." Evelyn's sob turned into a shaky laugh as she clung to him, the weight of weeks of fear melting in his arms. For the first time in a long time, the world felt steady. Chapter 4. Rebuilding. The rain had stopped by the time Ethan and Evelyn left the bridge. Hand in hand, they walked through quiet streets, the city lights glistening on wet pavement. Neither spoke much. Words felt too small for the relief flooding their hearts. At Evelyn's apartment, she set 2 mugs of tea on the coffee table. Ethan sat beside her, watching steam curl from his cup, his hands still trembling slightly from adrenaline. "I meant what I said," he murmured. "About Chicago. About choosing you." She studied him, searching his face for doubt. There was none, only exhaustion and sincerity. Her chest ached with both love and guilt. "I should trusted you. I let fear get in the way." He shook his head gently. "We both did. But maybe that's what makes this real. It's not easy. It's messy. But I don't want easy. I want you." Her eyes blurred again, but this time with joy. She leaned against him, her head on his shoulder. Over the next week, they began to piece their life back together. They cooked dinner together instead of eating in silence. They went on evening walks, letting the city hum around them. They rediscovered the ease of their friendship, now laced with the warmth of love that had been waiting for years. One night, Evelyn pulled out an old shoebox of photos, college parties, road trips, late-night study sessions. "Look at us," she laughed, holding up a picture of them in ridiculous Halloween costumes. "Everyone probably saw it before we did." Ethan smiled softly, tracing the edges of the photo with his thumb. "I think I always knew. I just didn't believe I deserved it." Her hand found his. "You do. We both do." For the first time in months, Evelyn went to bed without fear, and Ethan woke without doubt. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't without scars. But it was theirs. And it was enough. Chapter 5. Always. Spring arrived quietly, softening the city with blossoms and longer days. Ethan and Evelyn had found their rhythm again, not the fragile balance of before, but something sturdier born from weathering storms together. One Saturday morning, Ethan suggested a walk. Evelyn agreed, not suspecting anything unusual. But when he led her back to the pedestrian bridge, her heart skipped. The river shimmered below, sunlight dancing on the water. Ethan turned to her, nervous but steady. "Evie," he said softly, "this bridge has seen every version of us. Friends who laughed too loudly, almost lovers who were too scared, to broken people trying to figure it out." His eyes glistened. "And now, I want it to see the rest of our story." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small box. Evelyn's breath caught. "Marry me," he whispered, opening it to reveal a simple, elegant ring. "Not because it's perfect or easy, but because it's real. Because it's us. And because I can't imagine my life without you in it every messy, beautiful day." Tears blurred her vision. For a heartbeat, all the doubts, fears, and fights flickered through her mind. Then they dissolved, leaving only love. Yes, she whispered, voice breaking into a laugh through her tears. Yes, Ethan. He slid the ring onto her finger, his hands shaking, and when she threw her arms around him, the city seemed to fade away. On the bridge where they'd once been only friends, they kissed as future and past converged. That night, lying tangled together, Evelyn whispered, "We almost lost this." Ethan kissed her hair. Almost. But we didn't. And we won't. And for the first time, neither of them doubted it.